it's Jennifer from Belladonna's Botanicals. This is a video I meant to make about 3 years ago and didn't at the time. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of like I want to talk about let's talk Abaddon. Abaddon is a very popular subject amongst my Christian haters who like to. I think my Abaddon video from like 3 years ago has gotten the most hate out of all my videos. Hey, poor lad. Anyways, but one of the things I love to work with Abaddon, and a lot of times when people work with Abaddon, they're working with, not gonna lie, throwing a curse with Abaddon is some fun shit. It was quite, my neighborhood could be quite boisterous in unpleasant ways over holiday weekends, and I did a little shut the fuck up spell with Abaddon, and it's the quietest Memorial Day I've ever had here. I can only assume that Abaddon has eaten all my neighbors. Oops. Anyways, I've done some workings with Abaddon of the more baneful nature. But I think a lot of people look at Abaddon the Destroyer or Abaddon the Lord of the Abyss in that sort of a very destructive entity to work with. And not for nothing, can be. I think in the Return to Sender spell series video, I talked about the Return to Sender spell I did with Abaddon that TLDR caused the bus crash. Oops. So I've worked with Abaddon now for like probably about 3 years, I guess. And one of the things that I find unique about working with these entities is that sometimes they kind of get pigeonholed a little bit into one direction, and other areas aren't explored as much. Like I found Abaddon to be, like, if you really are looking at self-transformation in that destroy that which no longer serves you, Abaddon's your guy or gal, however you see them. So I know some people work with Abaddon more in the dark feminine aspects of them. So Abaddon to me is just sort of a dark, cloaked, shadowy figure most of the time. Very, 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 very big, like the size of a mountain big, and not like a small mountain either. So one of the things that I find interesting in my workings with Abaddon is that Abaddon can be amazing to work with for healing. And that's probably not the first thing you think of when you think of, Abaddon the Destroyer, the Lord of the Abyss and whatnot. Let's heal. Healing with Abaddon. It's kind of, I think a lot of people would look at that and be like, isn't that like putting out a fire with a flamethrower? No. It's different. It's you really kind of have to have a good understanding of working with underworld currents and understanding sort of the abyssal energy in that way. And that you can heal through destruction in a way. So it's just follow me down the rabbit hole of random tangents, but it's kind of like through destruction can come regrowth and rebirth. Like a volcano can erupt and destroy everything in its path, but new life will grow from that. Or you might end up with a whole chain of new islands. Hello, Hawaii. So sometimes out of something destructive, something new and something positive can come forth. Now, I mean, if you're thinking of it on a scientific level, if you are trying to destroy cancer cells with chemotherapy and radiation, you are healing by destroying. You're healing with destruction because radiation, not so great for you. Chemotherapy is toxic as fuck. You're poisoning yourself to get better. So thinking of it in some of those more malleable terms, that's all I'm asking here. So this was a few years ago. And this was all early work that I did in the astral realm with. And the reason I thought about doing this video is because I was doing some healing work again in my astral temple with Abaddon. I remembered back to this and I wanted to kind of read it because this is from my old journal from 2020. So What I called this piece was "How to Save a Soul from the Underworld Abyss." So I looks like this started, and I apparently got this page wet at some point because some of it is kind of smudged. I met with Lucifer, and he gave me several instructions. I need so pause here, and I just kind of uh, so I'm gonna pause here for a minute and just kind of explain. So being that I did a lot of work in the astral realm, I built an astral temple. So within my astral temple, I have a lot of, I have like sort of a dark garden, ritual space, healing waters. There's a lot of other things to it. I'm just not giving you the keys to the kingdom, because people can attack you on the astral, or throw curses at you through that. So, um, so I have an astral temple. That's sort of like my place I ping to when I astral travel, which actually makes it easier to astral travel. Um, and I did a video a couple of years ago on creating on astral temples. I may do a newer version of it at some point in time. But having that place of or that sort of place of origin in the astral, to go to do workings, or to ping in and then go elsewhere from there, is really helpful. So, anyways, and we're back to the story after that. So, what he explained is I needed to enter the rift of light to gain protective and positive energy. So, in my astral temple, I have a rift of light and a rift of darkness. The rift of light is just that I kind of pull the protective and positive energy out it, and the rift of darkness I put in the negative. Like, I'm like, get this ick off of me. Bleh, put it in there. So it's like void energy. So and I go on to say, after all this, to visit the void, I need to enter the rift of darkness to release the toxic and negative energies from the abyss. So I had to work with Belial and Azazel on being genetically coded to enter the abyss. Interesting. I feel like I had like sort of the abyss isn't a place you really want to. I mean, it's like swimming in like a toxic waste dump. So to be able to, I had to work with Belial and Azazel to enter the abyss without it mutating and negatively effectively. So the purpose of this was that I had sort of, this is where it gets later on is where it gets weird. A couple months later, I had gotten just like I had, again, this is one of those where your clairs will sometimes tell you, I just got this like feeling, this like something is really wrong, like, and I couldn't, I was out of touch with the person, and like, but like I just had felt like this massive soul damage, that something had happened, something really catastrophic and bad. So, um, and intuitively, I didn't know what had happened. Um, so I needed to rescue. It was almost like this is how I learned, almost in a way, how to do soul retrievals, um, without knowing that I was doing kind of a soul retrieval. So I was able. So on the physical realm, I had to create sort of like a bag that had some items where it had like this person's picture, a sigil of protection, um any kind of personal items, from the person, like if they, we had, a necklace or something, or a piece of clothing, tag like a lock of hair, something like that, or anything that's just connected to that person. And oh, I need to redo that. I had to build an altar to myself as part of my dark goddess temple, and I did not incorporate that into, although technically I think it might be kind of half-assed in the back bedroom somewhere. I don't know. My house is a whole goddamn temple to myself anymore. So, anyways, but that was part of it. I had to build it. I had to build sort of an altar to myself, which apparently other people have said Lucifer's made them do as well. So I felt slightly less narcissistic and crazy for doing this. And then I was instructed I needed to speak with Abaddon about retrieving the soul part from the abyss. But I first needed to draw the toxic energy and insanity out and send healing energy. So then I worked with, this is over the course of like probably several days that this I was doing this working. Then I worked with Belial and Azazel on the genetic code base modifications to allow me to pass through the abyss unharmed. I spoke with them about random things like what kind of foods they like. I said they don't normally unless they are possessing someone. Belial said green jello shots are tasty and made him feel funny. And Azazel likes a good steak. I think I have terrible handwriting. I apologize. Blah, blah, blah. I think they powered me down for a while to reboot me after the code mods were completed. Because I remember like after sometimes you work with them, like there's times where I've had to sleep for like a solid like 18 to 24 hours. Or where I just can't function. So I need to revisit the light rift today and make my own altar and put that together with the bag of items. Let's see. I didn't write everything down as it transpired over the week. So actually, apparently, a lot of other people showed up for this whole thing as well. It wasn't just Abaddon. So Astarte, Hecate, and Lilith traveled to the abyss to retrieve the soul piece with Abaddon's permission. They held vigil on the shores of the abyss. And Abaddon says when one thing is removed from the abyss, one must replace it with something. So in order to take something from the abyss, like a missing soul piece, you have to make a sacrifice to the abyss. So I eloquently put this in as I told him to take a parasitic, a psychic, emotional vampire and chuck them into the abyss. So then Abaddon opened a temporal rift so we can transport the person back to my dark garden for healing. I took them to the lake for a cleansing ritual to remove the toxicity of the abyss. Like, I remember the abyss being like just like, there's a lot of tar and orange gelatinous goo and like waste, just all this junk and lost souls and just toxic ick. So oh, hey, I actually put the word toxic ick on here. Good for me. So Abaddon opened a temporal rift so we could transport to the Dark Garden. I took him to the lake to absorb the toxic ick and deposit it into the Dark Void and recharged in the light rift. This is also something I did in the healing process, is that I made a mirror box for my altar. And then as part of the healing process, I just added other like picture and all the stuff in it. I think maybe some of the stuff from the bag that I had made. So Hecate, Astarte, and Lilith channeled their energy through me to help heal this person. We worked on cleansing and realigning the chakras. I took a break and came to Lucifer for comfort, and he held me in his arms and wrapped his wings around me. Sometimes, like for me, a lot of times in working with Lucifer, at least back then, like it was very, and looking back to things I wrote like 30 years ago, that's been a common source of comfort in my life, is that's how Lucifer has come to me, even when I didn't know that was what it was. I was able to piece it together over time. So in a working with Hecate, Astarte, and Lilith, I allowed them to possess me. This was during the mirror box consecration ritual. Medusa also showed up. Blah, blah, blah. I had a tarot reading with someone, and they sensed that something was blocking my ability to talk to this person at that time. Not necessarily that it ended in success and triumph, but something. But I needed to keep working on the astral travel and oops. Yeah, that was fun. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. This is just sort of a personal side. So, it's like I worked on doing the healing for this, but I needed to cut some etheric cords, and I think I cut the wrong cord at that time. But I really wish I didn't. But anyways, well played. Noted that Belial first appeared as a purple alien creature, and I was like, whoa. He said, oops, wrong reality realm. I started seeing other alien-esque figures in the astral realm too. Let's see. Azazel said, stop trying, just be. I think he's right. And then he gave me a goat tree for my astral temple. Let's see. So, okay, so now I pick up a couple days later. So Lucifer came to my dark garden again. We're still working on the healing thing. And he was sort of taking part in the healing, I guess, as well. And he told me to shield my eyes. And I noted, the light bringer bringeth the light. Also, in previous workings, Lucifer and I spoke of our light and darkness and how hard it is to control our inner darkness. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice. Beelzebub gave me some capybara for my astral lake. So I think at the conclusion of this, I channeled some of the dark goddesses and the demonic divine that I was working with in my astral temple, and channeled our collective magical astral energy to heal this part of the soul retrieval and restore it to this person. It was quite powerful. I hope this person's doing better. I haven't talked to them. And I make a note of, to repay their favors and help. Lucifer, I have to take care of myself and do self-care. Belial. So these are great moments in demonic offerings. And guys, Belial, Netflix and chill, popcorn, and Prince of Darkness, the movie. 3 a.m. steak with Azazel. Lilith wanted a threesome with Freya. Hecate, I got the Sacred Heart of Hecate necklace, which I was wearing. I just took it upstairs. It's actually a really cool necklace. Astarte, I had to do a video on Slutwater. Satan ? I wrote Pact, but I don't think I ever did that. What was there? Lucifuge, Pact Ritual, Beelzebub and Baal was pathworking stuff. Asmodeus, fun sexy time, because hey, it's the kinky hell daddy after all. Abaddon, something sacrificed to the abyss, which we already got to. And Medusa asked me to get a Medusa candle, and I have to revisit the ones I can't remember. Yeah, this is where I noted that Abaddon came to me in a dream over 20 years ago. So in the recent spate of videos where I've started going back and reading some of my journals from like 20, 30 years ago, I do have, I really describe, I think the first time Abaddon came to me, I must have been like 19 or 20 years old or something like that. Pause for a minute because I'm reading through here because I have to get to the other part, which was 2 months later. I really need to work with Belial more again. I always loved working with Belial and Azazel together because they always just had this funny, almost sibling rivalry energy. I noted here. I worked with Belial and Azazel in my dark garden astral temple again. I was doing some cord cutting stuff, and Belial had on one of those horse head masks at one point and was throwing figs at the goats in my goat tree. I think he was trying to annoy Azazel. That tracks. This already is a video. This is where I go into, excuse me, the Infernal Feminine. Oh. So apparently I did at some point ask Lord Satan about what he wants as part of that. And he said, what I can do, he said, quote unquote, save as many as you can. No context. And we're back. So now this is the beginning of October, and I had the rite of deification done on the full moon a day or so prior to when I wrote this. I had started a candle ritual with Astarte, Lilith, and Hecate. Because I still hadn't talked to this person. I still had no idea what happened. So I just wanted to get closure. I was very emotional prior to the ritual, and as I was evoking Astarte, Lilith, and Hecate, crying to them and the universe how sorry I was. Right, this is all personal stuff, so I'm not going to go into that. I let the candles burn down. And the night of the ritual, I texted this person, kind of, I guess, I don't know, either for closure or to extend an olive branch. I finally got to bed. The following Monday, this is a couple days later, I finally heard from this person. And now tracking back in the time log here, they had been in a really bad accident. To the time at which I was around the time that I was doing all that I got that feeling state, that message that something really bad had happened. And so this person was injured in a bad accident. Found that out 2 months after I had this sort of and done all the healing work for it. I was shook. So I even noted that the weird thing is this parallels the exact time frame when I was working to doing the soul retrieval from the abyss. I guess Belial and Azazel told me to that I'd know more after I had the deification, right? Then at this point I evoked Astarte and Lucifer to show me what happened. And I did some workings with President Marbas and Archangel Raphael. But I know at some point, I'm trying to figure out if I wrote it in here. And we're flipping back because I know at some point I worked with Lucifer and they showed me the accident, which happened in a place I had never seen or been. And later, maybe like a year or so later, I actually saw the place it happened, and it was pretty spot on. In like, I'm like, okay, this is where I was at, where Lucifer kind of showed me the view of it happening. So, or where it happened. I'm just trying to see if I wrote that down in here. Hey, look, it's all my channeled stuff from Shamyaza. Anyways, I just wanted to share that sort of little anecdote. I remember I didn't realize I worked with so many other people with the context of it, but I do remember kind of having to work a lot with Abaddon to kind of negotiate the whatever that brief foray, and I think that was the only time I ever did that. I've stood on the edge of the abyss a great many times, but that was the only time I think I ever entered the abyss, and that was only because Azazel and Belial had done some tinkering to make it possible so it wouldn't completely corrupt me. I do like to chuck things into the abyss sometimes. It's good for that. When we talk about screaming into the void, literally sometimes I scream into the void. And on that note, I think, when you look at all these different entities, there's so much more to them than maybe what one person's interpretation of it is. So while you have Abaddon the Destroyer and, his army of locusts and whatnot, there are things you can do, work with Abaddon for healing. And especially like, I mean, real like healing on a deep soul level. I know one of the things Abaddon taught me in the healing process, and I've done this since then a few times. Um, because I work with I think it was during the process of how I was getting my crystal healing certifications, all that I started working with crystals. Um, One of the things he sometimes has me do for people, and when I'm doing Reiki on them, is basically I do these astral crystal grid, um like the crystals are embedded, like part of them. It's not like laying there and just being like, I'm gonna pile some crystals on me. It's like they become embedded within that person's, like if they need like heart chakra work, which seems to be where most of them for me that I've placed have been put, is like, the heart chakra one will be something at the center, like I've been vibing on kunzite lately, like nobody's business, but like something like a really good heart chakra kind of crystal, something which is interesting because like when you think of heart chakra and love, you would think like red crystals. And sometimes if it's something pertaining to love and relationships, like kunzite's pink, rose quartz is kind of pink, I'll use the something like that. If it's something that's really heart healing, I would probably go with rhodonite. And now I'm thinking like I should have grabbed some crystals, but like, so what he taught me to do is how to work with the astral energy to kind of embed crystal grids in people on the astral realm so that they have that healing energy with them. Um and to kind of connect that grid, like I don't have to have a like connect, meta connection to it in my house or anything, but it's something that on the astral, if they need to heal their heart chakra, like, taking like some unakite is a good one for heart chakra, or maybe they need protection, so red tiger's eye. And I need to do a whole lot of videos on crystals because I am a giant crystal nerd too. um Anyways, but it's video recording day, so yay for that. I am going to be recording more videos. Anyways, don't forget to click like and subscribe, and um let me know what you think in the comments. Smash the notification bell, smash it hard, and make sure you select all notifications, because sometimes you have to really plunder the notification bell to get it to actually notify you of anything. So anywho, that is my story of doing some healing with Abaddon and a whole bunch of other people too, or spirits too. So anyways, love y'all. Bye.